later in the day. We got so much to go through, though. By the way, were you a tech sergeant?
No, I was a senior airman before Mafia.
Senior airman. Yeah. By the way, if Congressman Anna Paulina Luna had showed up a little earlier for a hit, I don't think I would have gotten through that first segment. So thank you for your moral. Thank you for your moral. That was tough. You've broken a lot of news. By the way, we've had also announcement today. The breakup of the biggest spy ring in the history of the United States. Yes, Sequoia Capital announced this morning that they're splitting in two. Right, they're going to separate out their Chinese part from the American part. Too late, Sequoia. We're still coming after you, Colonel Derek Harvey, Brian Costello, Lee Smith, Natalie Winters. We have an entire team on the investigation of the most corrupt organization in America, and that's saying something. Sequoia Capital, but Sequoia Capital, you can run, but you can't hide. Just like on oversight. Okay. You're a firebrand, but you're not a bomb thrower, right? You're a firebrand, but there's a difference. You're a firebrand, but not a bomb thrower. But you threw a bomb yesterday. I think it was during our afternoon show. And also I'm looking down because we got the Anna Paulina Luna alerts. And all of a sudden I see this thing coming out of committee. And by the time I saw it, I think, Tim, it's had 1 million retweets. What did you actually say, and how many retweets is this thing? This is one of the most viral things I've ever seen.
So I think now it's upwards of 3.3 million impressions just on Twitter alone. But
3.3 million impressions.
Yes. So obviously that's huge because, had it not been for social media, I don't know that this truth would be out there like this. But I simply just put out a fact that came out of a briefing and oversight. So we know that Comer's been obviously working to get a certain document from the FBI that proves that Biden was receiving money from a foreign national, $5 million, when he was a vice president. So it's public corruption. And the FBI not only did not want to hand over this document, it's not classified, but they also said that if the informant who has been with the FBI for over 10 years, very credible sourcing, has been paid over 6 figures, this is not just some random schmuck.
Paid over 6 figures for other things.
For information.
Of other things he's worked on. So obviously
Correct.
Has a level of credibility.
100%. The FBI was basically saying that this is one of their most trusted informants dating back to the Obama era. But ultimately that they were in fear that this individual would be killed if they were unmasked.
Hang on a second. Slow down. Because this is like now in a mob movie.
Yes, and then
right.
Between that and to the other point of the FBI is infiltrated, you have a spy by the name of One Eye. I say it and I feel like I'm in a James Bond movie, but unfortunately it's true, who has been leaking information to their knowledge to Hunter Biden in regards to the ongoing investigation into him. So we can't even trust the FBI.
Let's connect all this. By the way, yesterday, I think, until Sequoia came along, the biggest spy in American history, Hansen, died, and we still, I think, totally know the reason, out in Supermax prison out in Florence, Colorado, FBI agent. And this was the guy that Angleton at the CIA went after. Angleton knew, and this drove Angleton mad, and quite frankly destroyed the careers of probably 200 CIA and FBI officers. Hunting for the greatest mole we ever had was an FBI agent, Hansen. You're saying now, so it's connect the dots here. They got an informant, but they also have a mole in the FBI. And this is FBI testifying to Comer or talking to Comer on the ring?
Comer.
Okay.
So we have, in regards to the specifically Biden information, there's a whistleblower and there's a human source, an informant. Okay. So that's separate. Aside from that, there is a mole within the FBI who is leaking information to Hunter Biden, and his code name is One Eye. So we have the ongoing investigation into Hunter Biden via the FBI. They have information that they are refusing to give to Congress. They are telling Congress that they have a genuine fear that this individual will be killed if they are unmasked. This is one of their most trusted sources. And while this is all happening, we are finding out that not only is the president, this is not a conspiracy theory. We have evidence, okay? So now we're also finding out that the man sitting in the White House is basically guilty of national security violations. He's corrupt.
Well, hang on. So how do you know from the information you have, how do you know? That's a big leap to say he's guilty. Why do you say that?
Because of the information that the FBI has, proving that he has received a $5 million payment from a foreign national while he was as the vice president sitting basically next to Obama in the White House. And that's in addition to the funding that we're seeing coming out.
Yeah, leave all the Chinese stuff aside. This is totally separate. This is $5 million, and we still don't know whether it's through Romania, from the CCP. But you're saying there's a whistleblower and informant, and the FBI is informing Comer and the Oversight Committee that the FBI believes, or the informant believes, that if their name is exposed, they could be, they're afraid for their lives. They're afraid of being assassinated.
The FBI told Comer that they had a credible fear that this individual would be killed if they were unmasked.
So where does that leave? I mean, that you can't stop the investigation, because that, to me, that would drive it up to the highest priority to get done.
Oh, we can't stop the investigation. And the fact that they don't want to give Congress, which is basically the answering authority that the FBI has to answer to. We are the people. You have to answer to us. You can't continue, one, to hide this information, and also, two, if you are in fear that you can't even protect your witness, why would you then continue to try to put that person in jeopardy, right? They would need to go into witness protection, and we have to open up
Did Comer, to your knowledge, in talking to Ray and the FBI, say, if you have a fear and you're our lead federal law enforcement agency, where's that threat coming from? Is it from a foreign threat, or is it from associates with Biden and the people that this point to? Where's the threat coming from?
I wasn't in the room, and I didn't hear the full back and forth. But what was interesting is that Comer was not the only one that heard this, right? There was other staff present in the room. And I find it very alarming that the FBI still chose to hide that information from us, saying that it was an ongoing investigation, which we know that the FBI can keep ongoing investigations forever. Ultimately, though, the bigger issue is that they are basically thinking that they're not accountable to the people. And so on Thursday, we will be holding a hearing to mark up the bill to hold the director of the FBI in contempt of Congress. And frankly, that will go to the floor. So they think that this is the old, 1.0 Republican Party. And I think that we absolutely have to hold these people accountable. Steve, I say this stuff, and it's crazy because it sounds like something that is made for a movie, but if we don't, who's going to do it? If we don't do it, who's going to do it? So we have to, and to my understanding, McCarthy has been working with Comer on bringing that to the floor.
Even if that's brought to the floor, is that going to be a civil or criminal?
I think it'd be criminal.
Okay. There'll be two of us then. Maybe throw Peter. No, but it's still. Here's what I understand. When they say it's an ongoing investigation, to the best of your knowledge, or Comer or the staff's, this is from 6 or 7 years ago.
6 or 7 years ago,
at least. It could be earlier. Where do they stand in their investigation?
I think that's the questions that we want to know. If this is ongoing, you've had this information, you know that the law was violated, you did nothing, you had this information going into 2020. And by the way, the same FBI that's conducting the investigation has a mole that's leaking information to Hunter Biden, probably leaking information on this as well to Hunter Biden. I mean, the extent of which the corruption exists is unknown.
Your point is that they've known at least somewhat about this before the 2020 election.
Yes, they 100% did.
And no doubt in your mind.
Yes, no doubt in my mind.
And particularly, they knew it also in 2019 when the laptop from hell was given over to the FBI.
This goes back to when Joe Biden was vice president.
Vice president, yes. But even when they got that, it connected more dots. Let's talk about the mole. How did the mole come up? How did you guys actually learn about the mole? The
mole has been briefed to us from the committee from what we've been able to find out. But all I know is that this individual, they have not been able to identify who it is, and that they are leaking information about an active investigation into Hunter Biden to Hunter Biden. So, I mean, even in just saying that, if this was you, for example, you can bet they would be trying to figure out who that mole was.
Have they, on this whistleblower, other whistleblowers are coming up, by the whistleblower law, that takes them out of the system for the FBI and deals directly with the committee as a whistleblower. Can't you just tell the FBI we want to just deal directly with the whistleblower?
Well,
they're not giving over the name. They're not identifying letting you have any contact.
Well, this is their human source.
That's a violation of the law, isn't it?
Well, there's a whistleblower and there's an informant. Yes. The informant has been with the FBI for over 10 years and is one of their highest paid informants and sources. So they're saying that this individual, if unmasked, if we know who it is, that they have a credible fear that this person will be killed.
And what about the whistleblower?
There's many whistleblowers that have come forward. We know that one recently, I think it was on May 30th, just basically came forward and said that he was an Israeli officer that was working alongside as an advisor with a Chinese company. He came forward, and now he's being charged with cooked up charges from the DOJ. They're trying to say that he's an illegal arms trafficker.
Do you have to bolt, right? You have to bounce?
Yeah, I have to head out to here.
Where do people get social media? Where do they follow you? Because this is an explosive and ongoing. Where do people go? At
Rep Luna or at Real Anna Paulina.
I want everybody to go there. Once again, real quickly, on Thursday, what's going to happen to the best of your knowledge?
So we are marking up a bill to hold the director of the FBI in contempt of Congress. In-house oversight.
And you're working diligently on that?
Yes. It's going to be an entire hearing.
30 seconds. Shifty shift.
So, to my knowledge, tomorrow we will be taking the vote to censure him and potentially fine him.
Tomorrow
night.
And that has tomorrow night, and that has that backing of leadership.
Yes, we're working on the bill right now.
They're giving us lots of things now. Great work.
Thank you.
Fantastic. And you're having a huge impact, I can tell you. Just the buzz around town. So fight on.
Thank you.
At first they thought, oh no, what's this shifty shift? The shifty shift thing tomorrow is going to be historic.